Welcome to the Gaggle, where we talk politics in Arizona and beyond. This week, we're talking about the tax that didn't get cut, a congressman's tweets, and someone who didn't get a job. Mary Jo, start us off with the bullet points on this non-tax cut.
So last week, a major tax package came before the House of Representatives. It would have allowed manufacturers to use up to $10 billion $1 billion in unused research and development tax credits. That money, they can't use it. So lawmakers found a way for them to tap that to the tune of $10 million a year. And this thing fell apart very quickly for a number of reasons. Where are we going to get the money in the budget? What about schools? They also had a big issue about the refundable tax credit. That is effectively the state writing a check back to a company, and people had a real problem with that. And someone has pointed out to me that the last time Arizona had a refundable tax credit, we had the alt fuel scandal. So these things sort of conspired to kill this bill. It's not the only tax cut that's out there. Governor Ducey's proposal is still alive. It's much more modest. This package was $20 million initially, knocked down to about 16. Ducey's looking for a $3.6 million tax cut. That one's still continuing.
So lawmakers have a streak of what? A couple of decades of every session they've passed a tax cut, more or less?
Pretty much starting with the Fife-Symington era. There have been cuts to broad cuts to the income tax, very more specific cuts, but every year we want to do a tax cut to keep Arizona competitive.
So I game this out. If they cut it all the way to zero, I think all they have left is to sell state buildings and give the money away. Oh, wait a minute. They already did that. Ron, Congressman Gosar was very active on Twitter of late. What's he been talking about?
Yeah, he's always very active, but he's always very in the moment as well. So last week when we had Jeff Sessions talking about whether he should be recusing himself from the Russia investigation or not, he issued this press release that kind of very staid and, noting the Democrat witch hunt that was ongoing
That was a term we saw a lot around, witch hunt.
That's right. And what's interesting is the difference between that tweet and, say, this one from last summer, where we have Congressman Gosar calling for a special prosecutor on the same day that the FBI is saying, nothing to bring charges against. And also different than this one from last fall, where he's just observing Constitution Day. So it just seems that there's an important difference here.
Partisanship, are you saying that?
No, it's the clever graphics.
Gosar's
we got to do better than this.
Yeah.
That's the key
Social
difference
media
here.
demands it. Okay.
So from one bad press release to another, it sounds.
Fake-ish press news release. Gosar's office issued a press release congratulating former state senator Carlyle Begay, who around the holidays, as you recall, announced that it was official and that he had a job at the White House.
I jumped on that.
Everybody jumped all over that.
Called him,
wrote a story.
Working on a job.
I think he said it's official.
He said it's official. It wasn't so official. The White House finally acknowledged that this man was nowhere to be found in their employment systems, their HR systems. He wasn't listed in the Interior Department. That story did gangbusters online, and there were other reporters, it sounded like, who were also trying to chase the same story. But Gosar, believing that he indeed got a job in the White House, put out a press release. Begay, after our story, issued a statement and said, look, there really isn't much to see here. I didn't really read the story. I haven't paid any attention. I've been so busy helping with the transition. He did acknowledge he's been volunteering his time. He does not yet have a job. He has been told to be patient. So we will see where that lands. And when he does get an official job, we will all officially double check.
Okay. Let's make it official. What are you watching for this week? I'm
officially still watching Vouchers. It looks delayed. It's been 2 weeks since they've been up. They haven't been through rules yet, and they haven't been heard on the floor. So we'll see.
Ron.
Affordable Care Act. We've got the Republican plan with the president's support now. So let's see where the delegation comes down on that and what it's all going to look like.
I'm with you. I'm watching that. It appears Speaker Ryan has united Democrats and Republicans. It seems like everyone so far hates it, but we'll see. Mary Jo.
Arizona Supreme Court is going to take up the definitive arguments on the minimum wage proposition. So we'll be back with whenever our 7 justices come up with a decision on that. But this is a big hearing.
And we'll be back next week.